crispy.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Figures in Action. And today I bring to you this worn down warehouse. So I was contacted by an individual, actually pretty cool story. I think at the end, in the beginning it wasn't that great a story. I was contacted by him when I was in Tampa, Florida on vacation, and he informed me that he just got something from Etsy. It was not that great. He wanted something custom. Anywho, he ended up getting back to me maybe a month and a half ago, and he wanted a warehouse that was depicted in a Batman movie, a Ben Afflek Batman movie. So he hit me up and said, hey, listen, this is what I want. This is what I have in mind. You know, if you can just use this to kind of help guide you. I do want that door to be removable. Cool, no problem. Let's do it. So it took a little bit longer for him to get back to me, but he finally did. And I just showed him a reel, an Instagram reel of this, and he was super excited and he can't wait to grab it. So we're going to go through a little more extensively than normal. As lately, I feel like I guess I'm not considering the fact that there's new followers all the time, and something I might have said 100 times somebody hasn't heard yet. So I'm going to kind of go through how I went about this build, step by step, what I used, what methods I used, how I just went about it pretty much. So let's get into it. First thing I'm going to do is remove this just so you guys can get a little more light in the dial itself. And this piece here is just corrugated cardboard, and this is just pieces of the same pink foam board, but just using my Proxon to kind of make them skinnier and or thin them out and make them so that they fit the way I wanted them to fit. The good thing about it is because I do, I have been doing this lately where I build that lip, it falls right into it, so no light gets in, which is great. He's also gonna get, wrong way. He's also gonna get two. So let me just show you guys what I was talking about. So it kind of just, if you can see, it kind of just falls there. So you're not gonna get that light in the background that kind of blocks it. He's also gonna get 2 pieces of vellum paper that he can put on top of there if he wanted the light to be diffused going into the dial, or if he just wanted to go straight in. So let's get into this real quick. Let me remove my assistant here, Tony Stark, and so we can kind of get into how I went about this. So first and foremost, I looked at the, I wish I maybe I'll, you know what, I'll post a picture at the end of kind of the inspiration where this came from. So the first thing he wanted to make sure was, well, first of all, he had ordered original was the floor, the ceiling, the back wall, and the side wall. So I guess he came at me maybe a few days after we kind of settled on everything. He's like, how much would it cost if I just add an additional wall just to kind of box it out? And I was like, yeah, no problem, we can do that. So let's start there. So the first thing is this vent. So this vent was created from scratch. This is just balsa basswood. I cut out the piece in the foam, framed it out, and then these are just basically pieces of balsa wood that are kind of slanted, glued in with tacky glue, and then reinforced in the back with hot glue gun so that it kind of stayed in place and dried well. But it's fine now. And then again, I boxed it in here so I was able to kind of slide it in. Just measuring, you just got to be careful about, if this is going to be 2 inches across, that's going to be 1.5 inches. Make sure that when so when I built the box, I laid it on parchment paper, so I glued it there. And so it was just basically a piece that you kind of slid into there. This is just printed out from the internet. Wanted to do this no smoking warehouse, and this I believe is reinforced. Maybe it's just paper. I don't remember if I think it's just paper. I didn't put any aluminum tape behind it. In this case, it was going to be sealed on all 4 corners, so I didn't find a reason to. The shelving unit here, this is just balsa and basswood. Pretty much easy to remove. And then this piece slides right out, and those are permanent in the back. So I wanted to create something where he can put it away and not have to worry about putting in a certain way so it wouldn't break. So I was happy that I was able to create that, and I think it came out pretty good. Very easy to install. As you can see, I am installing with just one hand and holding the phone with the other. So it's a very easy install. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's get into the tubing and the wiring and these 3D printed pieces. So I had a client hit me up because he wanted to start selling these 3D printed pieces, and I made a dial for him using a telephone, 3D printed telephone, payphone, and so he had hit me up. He had hit me off with 3 pieces. So he gave me, I think, 3 or 4 pieces. He gave me those 2 pieces, and he gave me this piece. So pretty much this is that. Just I painted it. I think in that case I just went with, I think for both of them, I just went with acrylic paints. And then I sealed them with Mod Podge, so that paint stays in there. So that's where I came up with that. And in terms of, so what I did here is I used my oh my god, I can't Dremel. Geez, I used my Dremel, and I dremeled a couple of holes in there, and then I used this wiring, and I pulled it out. And you can see it, the colors there a little bit. So I basically pulled this out, had Dremel some holes in there, and then I used, I'm holding this camera all wrong. Then I used this, so when I Dremeled the hole, I didn't go all the way through, just enough to kind of recess it, put it in there. Then I used this Gorilla Glue, put a little dot in there, put the wire in there, and actually it's pretty solid. So I was happy with how that turned out. Then the piping is actually specifically made for these type of hobbies. I think this piping is more for like railroad type of setups, dioramas. So I was at Hobby Lobby and I saw them, and they come a set of 3. They're all different widths. And so, yeah, so I got those. I've used them a little bit, but they're really easy to bend. The problem is that I had them stored away, and then when I brought them out, they were all bent like a little, they're almost like aluminum. So they're all like a little bent. But what I did is I kind of straightened them out the best that I could. I love the feel of this because usually that's the correct way that the piping usually works for electrical stuff that's, electrically powered. Oh my, I can't even say the word. That's powered by electric, that's on a wall. And then I just did the same thing with the pipe there. The way I kind of keep them, well, first so this is what I use for that. I use these guys here. And it's just a zip tie, a 4-inch zip tie. And then what I do is I put kind of a hole on each side, stab it through all the way, then kind of start the zip tie coming from the back of it to the front, and I wrap it back around. So that's pretty much what that is. Then I just used some paint and kind of made it look a little bit rusty. The exit sign is actually a working exit sign in this way. It is hollowed out in the back. So if you put a light, man, do I have a light on me? Let me see if I can do this. Well, we'll get back to the exit sign. This door is removable. It comes off. This window is made from scratch, and it's just painted in the back. You get a better idea there. Let's see. The cork board is just a piece of a cork sheet that I got at AC Moore. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. I just cut a piece out and I framed it up. But wanted to make sure that I did a lot of the details that I think would make sense in this type of dial. So the paperwork is kind of falling apart. But I also wanted to get into like little details, like putting the paint chips on top of there and then putting them on top of there. The way I created the paint chips is this. So what I did is I got some parchment paper, and I painted it in white, usually 1 or 2 coats. And then I let that dry. And then what I'm able to do is kind of put a little sheet of whatever paper, and then kind of do some of that. You saw some fell already. Let's do it here so you can see it falling. So that's how I create the chips. Now all of those chips are going to come off once I move this diorama. But all of these are permanently there. So this is all Mod Podge. So I did a sheet of a layer of Mod Podge, laid the chips in, let that dry, did another layer. So these are going to be permanently there, where these are not. So that's how I went about that. Then in terms of what you see here, it's just dirt. It's just plant dirt. So pretty much I have plant dirt that I have to take this little tube and just put it in there, and then I strain it so that I just get kind of just a pure dirt. So that's what that is in terms of what's under here. For the wood, I don't know if you can see it that great, but for the little grooves in the wood, I use this thing here. So this is hairdressers, hairstylists use this. This basically is used to clean brushes, to take the hair off of brushes. So it's a great way to kind of put those grooves into the wood to make it look as realistic as possible. So that's how I went about that. Let's see, what am I missing? Oh, so let's see if we can get this exit sign lit up. All right, so that's the exit sign, and if you put a light in the back, as you can see, you can light it up. I actually am gonna put a piece of vellum paper in there to diffuse the light, because I realized that if you get too bright, you can't even read the letters. But if it's diffused, you can, and this is how it looks with no light. So that's a good extra little touch that I don't know if he was expecting. I haven't even told him that can do that yet. So hopefully he'll see this video and be like, oh shit. Yeah, and so, okay, let's do the size, because a lot of times I forget. This dial is 20 inches across. It is 12 inches tall. It is 11 inches deep. Wanted to show you guys that this door actually does come out. So let's pop it out. So door does come out. It's already prepared in terms of it being painted here with the rust, it being Mod Podge, so you can, you know, pull the door, take it in, take it out, and it's not going to damage that. So that's how it looks kind of without the door. He wanted to have be able to create additional scenes, and I had to make sure that I also prepared the floor underneath that door. And yeah, I use the same technique for the walls in terms of the Mod Podge and the flakes of that white acrylic paint. Just with this, I actually started off a little different. I started with a thicker Mod Podge and kind of mixing the flakes within the Mod Podge. And then here, I did a layer of Mod Podge, sprinkled the flakes in, and then did another layer. So I got kind of two levels, which I'm very happy with. I was also able to do it on the shelving just because it makes sense as it's flaking off the wall, and the bottom shelving as well, but not as much as it's covered by the top shelf. Oh, this doorknob is these guys here. I've showed you guys these a bunch of times. I get these at Joann Fabrics, and they look like doorknobs. They're called fasteners, and that's what I use for doorknobs. And yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it. Check out the pictures at the end. I'm also giving away a really, really cool dial. All you have to do is sign up to Whatnot. Using my unique code, you get $10 off of Whatnot. I'm about to start selling some really cool shit. Sunday night at 8:30, I believe, I am scheduled to go live to sell some stuff. So you get $10 off coupon if you join using my unique code. You also get thrown into a raffle. So if you do decide to join, make sure you follow me on Whatnot and you hit me up on Instagram and let me know. Send me the screenshots that you've done so, and you are entered into a really cool dial, which I will be showing you guys on Sunday. Today is Friday, so I'm doing 4 videos in a row. So on Sunday, you guys will get to see the dial in detail that I'm giving away.